people coming in. Good morning, everyone. Hello, welcome. My name is Eleni Sommerschield. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent. We are going live. I believe we are live streaming now on Facebook. We're recording this webinar. Welcome to the Wise Agent webinar series. I feel like I have been gone for so long from the webinar series. I'm happy to be back. So welcome back from kind of summer vacation. I feel like I've been on summer vacation, even though I've been working the whole summer. And welcome to Regan. How are you, Regan, this morning?
I'm so excited to be here. This is one of the things, like I'm totally nerding out here, being super passionate about systems in real estate business. It doesn't sound like something that one would be passionate about, but I'm really excited for this. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh, I think it's gonna be fantastic. We have such a great conversation about how to run your business with your CRM. And Regan here is the Director of Coaching with Jared James. And I'm excited because the conversations that we've had in the past have been so wonderful. I'm like, everyone needs to be eavesdropping on this conversation. So I'm like, let's do, kind of my fall, even though it doesn't feel like fall here in Arizona, kicking off the webinar series with you, because I think you have such great insight as in this industry, that I think it's just going to be great for a lot of people to listen to what you have to say and share in your wisdom. So I'm excited for this conversation and for everyone to kind of eavesdrop on our conversation here this morning. So one of the things I wanted to just kind of make just a general announcements here. So there's a chat in the bottom of your screen, and you can go ahead and post in there. And I always love reading and seeing where everyone is from. So if you guys wouldn't mind taking a minute and just posting in the chat to everyone, or just directly to me, where you're coming from, what city and state, and what brokerage you're with, and how long you've been in the business. I love seeing that information. Regan, I think it's so powerful to see where people are coming from in the country geographically, because things are happening in different parts of the country, right? Like the markets are different all across the country. And then also how long they've been in business for, right? That also makes a difference. And you, Regan, are not in the US, you are in Canada, right?
I am, and it does feel like fall here today, which is why I am actually wearing a blazer, because it is actually a little bit, it is rather chilly here. So a bit of a rainy day. So I am dead center in the center of Canada, up in Manitoba, but with my role as Director of Coaching with Jared, literally all over the continent on a pretty regular basis, and work closely with both our coaches, which are also all over the continent, and students, which are all active real estate agents all over the world. Actually, we even have students in Japan, in Puerto Rico, in Belize, in a number of different countries, Mexico. So it's kind of neat to be to have insight from what's going on in our industry right across the whole continent.
Awesome. I love that. So you have all this, great information from around, we'll just say the whole continent, right? North America. So awesome. And I'm seeing a lot of things in the Q&A. People are saying that the chat is disabled. You got to love it when you come back from a little hiatus on these webinars and things have changed in your account. So I don't know what's changed in my Zoom account. I'm so sorry that we don't have the chat. So we do have the Q&A is working. So I see that. So feel free to just post your and I see people are coming in from Florida and Maryland and all over the place. I don't know what's happening with our chat, and I don't think I'll be able to have this conversation and look into that problem. So I apologize for that. But just post in the Q&A. So awesome. All right. Thanks for bearing with us on that. You got to love the return to the webinar nightmare, right? This would
the joys of technology.
The nightmare situation
until it doesn't work the way you want it to,
right? And one of the things that we talked about yesterday when we were having our prep call was preparedness, right? And so talk about not being prepared. So there you go. Sometimes that happens, but what's nice is when you are in a business, right, like in real estate, and you have a CRM, because what is the purpose of having a CRM? I know that's what we're going to be going through, is how do you run your business with the CRM? And for all of you that are kind of newer into the industry or maybe are not familiar with that acronym, CRM stands for Contact Relationship Management System. And I know, Regan, you have an interesting take on, people ask you like, why do I need a CRM? And how's this gonna help my business? So I'd love for you to share that, that comment that you have when people say that to you.
Well, it's funny, as real estate professionals, I mean, what our job is we solve people's real estate problems, right? For buyers, for sellers, at all different stages of life. There's a whole pile of reasons why we come into someone's life, as part of that transaction to solve whatever the real estate problem is that they have. And as a coach, our role is to help solve the problem in your real estate business, right? For realtors and how they're running their business and figuring it out. And so the insight that I get from hearing from so many different agents across the country, whether it's, chatting at a training event or a conference or through, coaching consultations or whatever it may be, I hear like, I need systems and processes, but I don't know if I can add that to my business right now. My plate is so full. I'm running in 17 different directions at any given moment. I don't know if I can add this. And the ironic thing with that is that having a system helping you manage your business should be taking things off said plate. You shouldn't be adding. You're already actually, when you say contact relationship management, you already have relationships with your clients. Right? Mm-hmm. You already have relationships that you're trying to get started,
right,
with leads, to hopefully get them to be clients. Right. You're already doing that. You're just kind of winging it right now. So many of us are just trying to wing it and figure it out. And don't worry, I got this. It's all up here, right? And we've got some contacts in our email, and we've got some contacts scribbled in a notebook somewhere,
or on a spreadsheet, right?
And, yeah. Or my husband's favorite, I remember he would always call me and be like, so there's an envelope on the kitchen island. It's white, and in the corner on the back flap, that's half ripped off. I think it's like an Eleanor or Ellen or something like that. Yeah. It's like starts with a 9. Yeah, that's the number I need. Right. Yeah. Not the world's best CRM is ratty old envelope on the kitchen island that you didn't take with you. So when we talk about systems, sometimes they're like, oh, sounds really great to have a system to run my business. And yet it sounds like some big daunting thing. It's a fancy word for checklist.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if we actually had simplified versions of how to manage our business. And so often I hear people say, like, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what I need to do today. My brain is running in 17 different directions. Tell me what's most important. Like, that's what a CRM does, is it actually helps you figure that stuff out. It takes all the thought out of it. So now you actually have more brain availability to do the things that you actually really need your brain for, rather than trying to remember what you're trying desperately not to forget.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you should never just, like rely on some scrap piece of paper, some random spreadsheet that, you can't remember what you named or where it was. Was it in, this computer or that computer, whatever it is, having everything in one central location in your CRM, something that you log into daily, right? That is a big, big thing. I was talking to a group the other day and I'm like, how often do you log into your CRM? And they were just like, well, not since I got it. And I'm like, well, then it's not doing you any good, right? If you're not logging in every single day, one of the easiest things that you can do to kind of get past that is, doesn't matter what browser that you use, right? But I do prefer Chrome. That's just my preference. I use a lot of the Google products. Even though I'm a Mac user, I use Google Chrome. You can set your browser to open up with certain tabs. So mine is, email, my Google Drive, and then my Wise Agent account every single time. Those are the 3 tabs that open up every single time I open up my browser. So I'm not distracted by like Facebook and Twitter and all this other stuff, right? Everything else that's happening, or I just have one single focus. And so I know I need to, I usually check my emails before I even get into the office, because so when I get into the office, I work off of my task list in Wise Agent. And I go through what tasks are coming up today that I need, that need my attention. What are the calls on my call list? And I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can see what I'm saying, is because then that really narrows in your focus and you're not distracted by like, this is happening and this is happening, or scrambling to figure out, like on that notebook, right, that's got, a bunch of scribble in it, what's happening. So there's a lot of stuff in here that just is, it keeps your focus. So
I think that's one of my favorite things about the Wise Agent CRM is because quite often I hear people say, well, I have this system that I'm using for my transactions. I have this one that I'm using for my clients. And then I signed up for this thing for leads and that's coming in and they're being all nurtured here. And so they're trying to figure out, how am I going to like log into all these different things and to try and run my business? And I love the all-inclusive approach with Wise Agent. Like, what a game changer for so many of us to have everything all housed up. Like, even if, like, let's be real here, okay? Truth bomb here, guys. For as realtors, the whirlwind is a real thing. You can have your day planned and think, oh, great, rainy day. I am going to get caught up on so many things. And we think that we're going to get so much done. And the phone rings. And one phone call later can totally change the entire trajectory of your day. That is just a realistic facet. It's just how our business is. It's how our industry it is. And the best laid intentions can sometimes totally get derailed because things just intervene. Yeah. But the brilliance of this is that at the bare minimum, you've logged into, you pulled up your Wise Agent in the morning, okay, I've got these active transactions on the go. I got to do this. I got to do this. And at least if these two people that I need to call and follow up with today, that the CRM is at least telling me, hey, this is the bare bones. You do this. I've taken 15 minutes. I've done the important things that I need to do for my business today, that at least if the rest of the day is a total gong show, a total write-off, I've still done what's important. And it's done. Yeah. If that isn't even an option today, and I'm logging in tomorrow morning now, I know exactly what I need to do to be caught up. If you get too far off course, and this is where we think, no, I got it. Yeah. I'm just, it's all up here. I'm figuring it out. And then you kind of come out of this fog of like, that was a crazy, I had a couple house hunting trips and people coming in that everything just got intense for a bit.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's 3 weeks later and you're like, yeah, I still haven't called that guy.
Yeah. Well, and I still
don't even know how to get back on track.
Right. Right. And I'm going to share my screen because everyone's like, okay, you guys talking about high level stuff? Or are we going to get in the weeds of things? And so we're going to get in the weeds of things because Regan and I are very similar minded, and where we're doers, right? We're like, all right, let's roll up our sleeves and let's just get this stuff done, right? Sometimes things just need to get done. And so, I'm sharing my screen here. Let me turn this off here. Okay, so this is your Wise Agent account. For those of you that don't have a Wise Agent account, you're not familiar, this is your main home, this is your home page. It is, I'm not going to go through a big tour of this, but I will say one of these things is that you always need to know your numbers. So when you log in, you're kind of hit in the face with, where am I at right now? It's August. Where am I at year to date? What's happening with my numbers? And so it's always a good thing to be mindful of this. And this is a demo account, right? So, so one of the things that we were talking about is, when you log in, what do you see? So if you get distracted by numbers and where you're at, or maybe this motivates you, I say keep this up top, right? But if you want to get in and you're like, I can't be distracted by anything, I need to see all this stuff. Well, then you can pull all of this all the way up here and have this be at the top of your list where everything gets pushed down. Oops, everything gets pushed down here, right? So I'm going to push this stuff down, and then I'm just going to have whatever up here on the top, either my calendar, my tasks, whatever it is. I'm going to
I
have
love
this
that
coming
feature
in.
that you can really customize the workflow, because we all do operate a little bit differently. We have different driving forces that really matter to us.
Yeah.
And so I love that you can customize it. This is what works for me, and the next person in my office, it might be a different layout or a different workflow that works for them. I love that it's so drag and drop. It's not like, oh God, now I have to go in and try and figure out how to customize this. Like, anybody got time for that? Like, it's drag and drop. This is the way I like it. Now it's just like that.
Yeah.
Love
So for
that.
like me, I mean, for demo purposes, we keep it on month view, but for me personally, I'm always on week because I need to know like by the minute, and I'm very scheduled. So I need to know when my schedule changes, not very rapidly, but kind of rapidly. A lot of things get added on. So I need to be able to quickly view this and then say, okay, I need to be at this showing in 15 minutes. Like, gosh darn it, like I'm 30 minutes away. I need to like hustle and get moving, right? So you always should have whatever works for you. If you're, if you work off of a calendar, if you work off of your lists, having that, kind of in front of you. Your call list, most especially, look at every day you should be calling somebody. Every single day you should be making phone calls in this industry. I mean, I have still yet to hear a reason why you wouldn't be calling somebody that maybe you're not even in a transaction with. I'm not talking about the people that you're in a transaction with. I'm talking about relationship building. Every single day you should be calling somebody that is not in your your pipeline currently going through a transaction. I mean, Regan, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I think the biggest roadblock there's two big roadblocks. One, I don't really know who I'm supposed to call. So this takes that guesswork out of it for you. Right. Because when you actually go into setting up your goals and everything, if you're saying, well, if this is the level of production that I need to do to pay for my life, or for whatever goals I'm wanting to hit, that this is the number of conversations I'm going to need to have with people. So as you're making it a regular course of business to be either adding more people in there, or just who am I calling and following up with? Because I mean, none of us like being cheesy salespeople, right? Of leaning in and being like, okay, now then there's the other big obstacles. What do I say? I don't want to be picking up the phone and be like, so do you know anyone looking to buy or sell? No? Okay, right. Great. Talk to you in 6 months. It's icky. No one wants to do that. Like it feels very salesy, and no one wants to be part of that.
Yeah.
The whole relationship piece of it, the contact relationship management, is you just want to show up and be a human in your life. So what relationship do you have in your life where totally ghosting them for like a couple of years at a time is advancing the relationship? It defies the logic of what the word means, right? We want to show up and actually be present. And so when you're calling and you're like, oh, hey, CRM is telling me that Richard's on deck today, I'm just calling him and say like, hey, I haven't talked to you in ages. How the heck are you? What's new? And listening for opportunities to follow up, so I can go back in the CRM and be like, Richard's doing some renovations. He's getting a new deck built. I'm going to make a note now. He's got contractors coming next month. I'm going to make a note here to contact him about a month after. How did the deck turn out? Were you happy with the contractor? Right? And now what's that new? Are you traveling this winter? And I'm listening for another opportunity to follow up. And at some point, as that relationship advances, it makes sense to lean in with, so between you and me, who else should I be talking to?
Yeah.
Right. But that only happens with an evolution of the relationship where it feels natural and organic. So it does take some intention, but to get rid of that roadblock of, I don't know who I should be talking to, this does the thinking for you to just say, okay, call these two people today. And even if the rest of your day is gonzo, you've worked on your business. You've worked on growing your business. You're doing the things.
Exactly. And this is why we have the follow-up tab here. We have the notes so you can go look back on. And while Regan is talking about and giving you your suggestions, I'm showing you on the screen here. So you guys are hopefully watching and what I'm doing and typing. Trying to type, usually I type in gibberish, but just typing in and what the flow of the conversation. So if I'm having this conversation with Richard, I'm coming up and I'm saying like, okay, I'm going to follow up with him about how the deck is coming along. He also referred these people and told me I need to be reaching out to them. I need to do this. I put in my next contact date. This is really important that you do this, right? Because that's your call to action for the next, like, hey, so Richard, right? When would be the best time to call you next time? I mean, I'm thinking, I'd love to call you back in like about a couple of weeks. And if he says, oh, I'm going to be out of town, I'm going to be out of the country or whatever, you kind of set a date up with him.
Richard Branson, there's a really good chance he's going to be out of the country.
He might be out of the country, right? You're gonna crack up with some of the people we have in here in this demo account. So Richard Branson, we got Elon Musk in here, so we got everybody, we got them all covered. So you want to make sure that you get a follow-up, right? So I'm going to be calling you back in a couple of weeks just to see what your thoughts are, and after you've completed the deck project, to see if this is going to be a good time for you to put it on the market. And so you want to make sure you have that follow-up in there, and then attaching yourself that alert. So I know that some of you don't log into your CRM every single day, right? But you should. In case you don't, you can set yourself some reminders and say, oh yeah, I need to make sure that when, it's time for me to call Richard Branson, I actually do follow through with that, right? And so now
your brain isn't scrambling for, why did I say I was calling him again? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Because he was having the deck build. And I wanted to see if it was a good contractor, because I always need to have a good guy to be able to refer. And because I'm a professional who does what I say I'm going to do, because now I'm setting the tone for this is how I operate as an entity, right? Mm-hmm. If I said, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you and see if you were happy with the workmanship for the contractor you hired? Of course, he's going to say, yeah, that'd be fine. That's cool. Now I'm doing what I said I would do. Yeah. Right. Exactly. When I said I would do it, which is a little thing that can either help build trust. I mean, people are only going to do business with us if they, one, know us, right? And then they like us, and then they trust us. So it builds trust that we do the things that we say that we're going to do, and that we do follow up and follow through. So that consistency is not just about being in the middle of that transaction. It's about, this is how I operate as a professional entity, just showing up as a person in your life.
Right, exactly. And it shows your professionalism. It shows that you're organized. So then if you do get the listing, right, they're not going to be like, well, they said they were going to call me that one Thursday and they never followed up with that. Like, so now if I give them my listing, are they going to be following up with people that are coming through the open house? Are they going to follow up with the paperwork? Are they going to do all the things that they need to do? Can I trust them with that? And if they don't feel confident in your abilities, well, then it's all for nothing, right? So you need to build that trust. You need to prove without saying it, right? Without sharing exactly what you're doing, that you have some kind of system, right? Because they're going to look at it. People know that we forget, we're all humans, and there is grace in that. But, when you're running a business, sometimes people are like, hey, business is business. I need to sell my property, and I don't have time for you to, figure out how you're going to be doing, staying on top of things. Like, I need you to stay on top of it. And so when you have a system in place, that's how you prove it, with showing up when you need to be there.
I love that you've got the categories on the screen there, because that's another element too, in terms of you really relating to people. That one, you're going to have different categories for how maybe you're reaching out to people. So for example, in my city, we have an Air Force base. It's a military city, and we have a lot of military contacts in other markets across Canada. So having people categorized that way is a big deal, to be able to reach out on, for talking about things of all things military transfer, and that all language and everything attached to it. But even having, if you can, there's no limit to how many categories I think you can add there. So if you've got people, let's say that you're super into dogs, right? And you're passionate about either dog rescues or all those kinds of things. That's a personal passion of yours. Wouldn't you want to know how many people in your contact list are also dog lovers, so that when you're going to do a fundraiser, that you're going to, partnering with a local organization or something, it's very easy now for you to be able to cast out to that audience who's going to be super into that, to want to be able to either come out to an event that maybe you're going to be picking up, driving around picking up donated dog food or old towels or sheets or something like that. Like, it gives you the opportunity to categorize people in the way that makes sense for your business.
Right. and filter through things. So you want to make sure while you're having those conversations, you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know he was, in the military, or he's a veteran, or he's a whatever dog rescuer. You add all of this stuff as along the way, you're updating things as they need to be updated, because that is what's important. And so, and then you have things where, if he mentions something that you need to make note of, well, you put that in your notes. You want to keep that in here where it's always there to remind you and to have a note in that. But if he says something like, oh, you know what, could you just send me an email next week about, calling me on the 8th, because I really want to make sure that I'm around. And you're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And so you can come in here and just put in the, subject line, phone call. You do all this stuff as a reminder. And now I can say, okay, I'm going to just email him on, I'm just going to schedule this email to go out. So I can, get that email to go out right away. Now I'm not wasting time. I'm not doing things where, on the 25th, I totally forgot to send him this. And again, I'm not following up with my word. So I can schedule this out, and now it's set to schedule to go out. I'm not going to actually do that.
And you're not double handling the task.
Right. And so you have it set up. Yeah.
You're already in there.
Done.
Yeah. Because like you said, in your mind, you're not sorting for like, what was I supposed to, I know I got a reminder here that I'm supposed to email him. What the heck? I've had like how many conversations since I talked to him last week? What am I supposed to say again? There's something about, can't remember. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. And it's just one thing that, that it really just takes one thing off your plate. You can do it right away while he's, talking about where his next adventure is taking him. You can go back and you can, you really have that already done for you. It's set up in advance. Now nothing is going to get in the way between you and sending out that email when it needs to go out. Okay, so that's really the power there. And then what I also wanted to show on our call list here is that we've made it so it saves you time. A lot of times, time is money. Time is money in this industry. Oh, yeah. And so you don't want to waste any time. And so we kind of mitigate those things for you by just making things easier. So I can come in here and complete that call, and then it just completes it, wipes it off of my list. You can see on here, it wiped it off of my call list for today. And then the next person pops in right here. So now I have my next caller that I can call, and then I'm done, right? I can go on and make that call and go on from there. So really, it does help with keeping you organized, keeping you focused, and then just going on to the next thing. So we're all pretty similar creatures. Nobody likes to scroll around looking for instructions on how to do this. You want to make sure that you are focused and you're staying on focus. And we at Wise Agent are helping you keep your focus by saying, okay, here's the next person you need to call, just automatically. So you don't have to, come back and click and, and then the time it takes you to click, you got a text notification or an email notification. Now you're on and you just had a squirrel moment, right? So.
Oh no, we don't get those in real estate. Yeah, that never happens. Like,
one thing. Focused. Right. We have a few questions here. So one of them being the goal tracker. They wanted us to talk a little bit more about this. And Regan, I think for you just being a director of coaching, I mean, this is something I'm sure you tell people to set goals. Goal setting is, I know I set goals. I make sure I'm one of those parents. I even make my kids set goals, right? So maybe they don't have financial goals. Well, my oldest does, but the ones that the kids that aren't working, they don't have financial goals, but they definitely have short-term goals. And everyone should have a goal with kind of something in sight of, how to calculate where you need to go and be really proactive in moving your business forward and taking action on those things. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of your goal setting ideas.
It's funny when people say, well, this is where I want to get to, they don't really stop to think about, well, how am I going to get there? Right? We want to know, well, where am I now and where am I going? That's how you're going to start to build out a plan for how you're going to get there. So having goals and being able to pivot. I mean, the market is changing really in virtually every market across North America right now, or globally even, right? So how do we know when to pivot, when to change our behaviors, it can be so motivating And it's funny, we always look for, well, like, where does motivation come from? Well, you can't just order it on a box from Amazon and be like, oh, great, my motivation came, and I got the bundled combo with the confidence that they both came in both boxes. So we're going to do an unboxing, and I'm ready to conquer the world now. Like, if only it could work that way.
Right.
But when you see, oh man, I'm getting close. I'm getting close to this, like 3 more deals, right? And it can be, but the beauty of this is that you can set whatever goals make sense for you. Not only, it doesn't have to just be annual, you can set different benchmarks, right? In terms of what you want to do. So you might have little celebratory benchmarks along the way, depending on how your brain works, that you want to be able to do. It might be a goal that you set that once you hit this goal, whatever that is, and again, you see on the screen here, add goal, right? It might be like, no, I hit this benchmark, Mama's getting a new handbag.
Right.
Or,
I love that.
you know, or booking the trip, or absolutely kids. I've already priced out the pool. We know, you know, and then Mom hits this many goals. Right. That phone call's happening to that contractor. We're booking a bulldozer in the backyard to be digging a hole, or whatever equipment digs holes. Don't hate on me for not being a construction expert. Right? I'm winging it on the fly here. But you can set different goals for different stages of what you're doing. You know, it might be that, like, oh boy, I'm getting real close here. I make a few more calls. I get, like, can just accelerate everything for you when it's so clear in front of you, especially when you're really connected with why you're doing this and what that outcome is going to be. If you're just taking that dart and throwing it in the dartboard, and I'm like, I guess my goal is this many units this year, or this amount of GCI, because it just sounded like the next benchmark, it's probably not going to be that motivating. But when you start really tying it to what that's going to do for you, or what that goal is going to achieve for your life, that's when it can really help push through doing the unsexy stuff. I mean, it's funny, like Jared James says this all the time, but, you know, he's known as a speaker, right? And that's 1% of his like monthly or yearly life. Like, he doesn't spend that much time out of his month literally on a stage speaking, and yet that's what he's known for. But there's all this other stuff that has to happen to make that goal happen. Right. So when we're looking at closings, in terms of, okay, I need more closings now to be filling up the bank account, or to make these other things happen, there's all these other things that need to happen to lead to getting the glory at the closing table. Yeah. And so having your goals very clearly set out can be such a difference maker in measuring that success and how close you're getting, to give you that extra push to make the calls you don't want to make, to send out the emails they don't really feel like it, because we can't really wait till we're motivated till we feel like it. Sometimes we need that extra push. And Mom's not coming to parent us. Mom's not coming to say, turn off the TV and do your homework. Yeah. Right. We have to parent ourselves. We have to adult here. Right. And this is one of the tools that you can use and customize it for what makes sense for you. We're all a little bit weird. We're all a little bit weirdos here, where we have our own quirky little goals or motivating factors. So whether it's the comic book character action figure that you saw on eBay you have to have, or whatever your quirky thing is that is going to drive you, you can set whatever the goal or whatever capacity of your business that makes sense for you.
Yeah. And I think, and the way we've done it here at Wise Agent is, you know, you want to have, I mean, everyone always has kind of these annual financial goals, but what does it take to get to that? What does it take for you to get to 2.5 million in annual gross sales, right? Well, you need to call people, you need to meet people, right? So you can't call anybody unless you've met somebody new, right? And so you need to meet people, you need to engage with them, you need to build the relationship. And we've done that for you, you know, in a way where when we were building this tool out, we were talking about it internally, and it's like some people here were thinking, well, in terms of weekly goals, and others were thinking about it in terms of monthly goals. And so we've made it, we were like, well, if that's what we are here in this, you know, in our just little, you know, community, and how we think, that's probably going to happen in just like the broad spectrum of realtors. So we've given you the option to say, is this going to be a monthly goal that you have? And it can be whatever it is, right? So this is whatever it is. It's going to be your pop buys, it's going to be be your handwritten cards, your phone calls, your, you can have one for open houses. And then you can say what that goal amount is. It's going to be the 10 of whatever, right? I need to do 10 phone calls a day, or I need to meet 10 new people a month, or whatever it is, 30 people a month. And you can adjust these as you see fit. And so if it's meeting 30 new people every month, well, okay, then I can, and what we've done is we've broken it down. So I can see it in, in the week view. So when I'm looking at this weekly, it shows me I need to meet, 7.5 new people. I don't know how many meet a half person, but, so when I can see this in monthly goals, is that I'm saying, okay, I need to meet 14 people. I can just keep going with this. And then I can go back and see the analytics of it. And this is a demo account, so I have to go back sometime, right? And now I can have some accountability to myself. Okay, let me find one that's used. I thought I had some of these. But so, okay, maybe not. But what would happen is I could, view the goals and see what, as I look for which goal would have some data to display here. And, and
have
so,
to abort that mission.
Right. And so, all right. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
If you go back to the goals list there,
yeah,
there's some real brilliance in this. And a couple of great ways to use this. One, it gamifies it, right? When you think about stupid games that we have in our phone, and you're like, oh, you've got 3 of the 4 hammers or whatever. You're just like, I need to find one more hammer to you've gamified it, that our brains just work that way now, right? So that's brilliant. And the other thing now is that it makes it quite easy within your team members, if you've got multiple team members, to be able to kind of gamify that process as well. So it can be a little bit of competition in a fun way, but for whatever goal makes sense for them. It doesn't have to be that you've got different levels of production with your team members. You've got, people who have capacity to do more than others, but whatever their goal is, they can still be 25% of the way to each of their goals in the different capacity that it lets you kind of run short-term little contests or whatever for, who can do the most pop buys by Saturday, or, whatever it is that, those activities, so that it's not all just about, well, we're only in February. It's not exciting to be tracking annual production yet, because you're still staring down the barrel of all this work to come. So it helps you really kind of tighten up some of those things.
Yeah, and absolutely. And so we have a few questions here I want to go through. So a few of you are asking some questions about categories and how many you should have, or, can you have several categories? You can absolutely have several categories. We both highly encourage you to have people in multiple categories. That's the best way of segmenting your audience. So here I have in my demo account, I have Michael Phelps. So I know he's an athlete. I know he's, specifically in swim. Do I not have swim in here?
But he's got a new cat. That's brilliant.
He's got a new cat. So whatever it is, I can put in here specifically swim. So I can have one overall for all athletes, right? If I deal with a lot of athletes, and then hone in specifically on which type of athlete, right? And then what other interests do they have? So he's got a cat and he loves gardening. He's an executive. He loves jewelry, apparently. So these are things that, so now when I'm talking and building the relationship, it's not always like Regan said earlier, it's not always, hey, did you want to buy or sell today? It's not always about that. It's building a relationship. It's going to be more, there's got to be some depth to the relationship. There's got to be depth to the conversation. So, Michael, tell me, how's your summer garden coming along? What are you growing today? What are you growing this season, etc. So it's not always about buy or sell, buy or sell.
Well, the other thing that leveraging the categories can really do for you is help you leverage your budget. So let me explain. If you've got a marketing idea, maybe you're wanting to run a spring contest, and maybe it's going to be like a egg coloring contest or something, and you want to be able to do this semi-large scale, but then you also want to do a little bit extra for your own clients. Or maybe at Halloween, let's say Halloween's coming up, you're going to do a pumpkin carving contest, and you're going to be promoting this on your social media. You can have, now these are your ride or die, your A+ people that maybe them you're going to be popping by with a pumpkin, and you're going to go to Dollar Tree and get a little pumpkin carving kit and make up a cute little tag. Well, your budget's only going to go so far. You can't do that for your entire database, and your entire database isn't necessarily pumpkin worthy, right? So you can say, well, these ride or die that keep, these 31 people, I'm going to drop off a pumpkin in the pumpkin carving kit. These other 20 people, well, the pumpkin carving kit, I can actually just slide that into an envelope with have fun with your pumpkins, right? That I can actually just mail that out. And then maybe now the pumpkin carving stencils, I can actually just put those on social media to download into the contest here. So I can leverage my one idea into different facets of my contact list, and everybody's still getting a touch, that I can be emailing out those stencils. I don't even have to be printing them off and sending them out, but I can leverage my budget that much further and still have impact with one idea, and without having to give it too much thought, because they're already categorized that way. It's click, click, click. Oh, here's my list.
Right.
Oh, done.
And I always suggest using in conjunction. So like you can see here in Michael Phelps. So we have, not only do we have the categories, but we also have their status. We have their rank. I'm going to change this back to under contract, let's say, right? And so the rank is really important. And this can be defined however you see fit for your business. So everyone, a lot of people that I talk to define this differently. So I personally define your A's as like, these are people that you not only do business with, but they are your friends. Like you would call them up to just have a cup of coffee with them and just chat with them, and personal details, they know personal details about you, right? And so from your contact list, so this example that Regan was just showing, talking about the pumpkin carving, those are the people, these 31 people, right? In this database, I would go drop off 31 pumpkins, right? And that's going to be a nominal, that's part of your marketing cost, right? That's just part of you doing business. It's cost of doing business. And then the B's, and in this account, I don't, my B's, I only have one B, so I'm going to go to my C's and move some of my B's, move them over to my B's, right? So I can even do that in bulk action. So I want to show you that. So you can come through your database and just pick and choose people and say, I want to set their rank, and I'm going to set these people to B so that I can do this demo a little bit better for you, right? And so now when I go and I say, show me all of my B's, it's going to come up with these 7 people, right? I just added these 6. And now these are the people I could even, depending on my cost, depending on my budget, I could either drop off more pumpkins to them, or maybe I'm like, there's like 75 people in my B's. That's not cost effective for me. So I'm just going to send them that, the template, or I'm going to do this, whatever it is, right? And then you can just keep searching for your through your database in conjunction with your source, right? So it could be the lead that I got through.
Oh, it's Veterans Day. I want my A clients that were military, right, that have that category. With them, I'm sending out, thingamapoppies or something like that, right? Like,
so you can do all of this in conjunction. I want all my military A clients that have an A ranking, right, that are my true friends. I want to search for them, and it comes up with this list, and this is what I'm going to do for them, right?
This is where I find so many people get tripped up with their marketing budget, is they think that every marketing activity that they do needs to go to everybody. And that's not true, because all the people in your contact list are not created equal, right? The person, your past client that has referred you 3 other deals and tells everybody about how amazing you are, is not the same as the guy who just signed up on your website and his email address was biteme@blowme.com, right? That is not the same. You can't just say all contacts are created equal. They are clearly not, right? So you want to be able to quantify and be able to leverage your budget to still get the kind of the social credit for the touch, for touching base with them, but at the pace or the budget level that makes sense for the stage of the relationship that you have.
Yeah. And then, you know, and then when you do these searches, you could still take notes, right? I can still attach a note to these, to all of these clients in one fell swoop. So then I'm not having to go into Elon Musk and type in the note here saying, you know, I don't have to come here and say, you know, sent pumpkin and did this, that, and the other. I can do that in a bulk action. So those are really important things, kind of time-saving tips for you in order for you to kind of move your business along.
Because now too, as you're planning out your marketing activities, you say, okay, well, I just did this pumpkin thing in October, and now I want to do something for Thanksgiving. I don't have to touch on the same people. It might be as planning out your marketing strategy that I'm going to do pumpkins with this group. I'm going to do a pie with this group because, you know, these are the people that, you know, I'm going to invite these ones to the pumpkin patch because they all have kids. And these ones, they're not going to come. They're not really going to appreciate that event. So I'm going to do something different with this group, you know, so it really helps you just get really strategic. You've got two resources to invest into any aspect of your business. You've got time and you've got money.
Yeah.
And so this helps you be a lot more intentional with both of those resources so that you're getting the best possible output of that. So again, it's just having a system helping you make better decisions in your overall business. It's not just about how am I emailing people.
Right. And so that kind of brings us to the task list. So from your home screen, you can see what all your tasks are here. And then you can most definitely, you know, just kind of make it, all right, this is done, this is done. But then when you're going through your task list, you can do things here where you can say, let me go to this contact record. Let me go ahead and, go to this checklist that's happening of, you know, this is where am I at with this particular checklist for somebody, making it really simple for you to find things and do things and take action. So then the transaction is moving along the process, or you're moving, your business is moving, you know, through the pipeline of things. So, and then the other thing that I love about our task list is that you can have like your estimated time it takes to complete something. So if there's something that's going to take, you know, kind of take a little bit more time for you to do something, maybe you're going to do that first because you're like, gosh, I am going to need an hour of this time. So I want to make sure that I have that time available in my schedule. So I can, you know, put in here, it's going to take me, you know, about an hour to complete this task. And it's super high priority. I want to make sure that this is done. And I typically, I wake up, I don't know about you, Regan, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm always like, oh, shoot, I got to do that tomorrow morning. Like that cannot wait.
Oh, that never happens with realtors. Never.
Right. And so
ever.
I reach over my phone, I grab it and I get on a Wise Agent on my phone and I'm like on my task adding things. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to take about 30 minutes to do, but I need to get it done. And I put it in the highest priority level. And then I put in there, you know, need to call, you know, in order to get this completed, I need to, you know, go back in the notes and read what kind of housewarming gift, or I'll put in here, like, I'm thinking flowers or maybe this or maybe that. And then I put all the details in there that I'm thinking right at that moment. So then I don't miss that. And then of course, if it's something that is super urgent that like cannot wait, I will set a reminder. So then I am not, I'm not forgetting to do that task, right? That would just be terrible if I forgot to do that task. So
which kind of brings us into the transaction management portion of what Wise Agent does. Yeah. And that time frame thing is important because as you see, when you're looking at this buyer transaction, there's all these different tasks and they do have different time frames. So as you're building out your calendar of what today looks like and the things that you need to do, very different. Sending an email about a lockbox is a very different time frame, you know, between, you know, filling out the whole pool disclosure. Right. So again, being able to assign things to different people and you might be assigning it and your team, maybe you and an admin that you have part-time or transaction. But you can say these are the things that either my TC is going to do or my admin's going to do or I'm going to do, or you might have a larger team where he's the lead agent on this transaction. He's going to do it, but he's got a thing with his kids this weekend. So the other team member is actually doing the open house. So she's going to put up the open house sign ahead of time, whatever those tasks are.
And I'll say this, Regan, what I tell people to do all the time is, because a lot of times in this business, right, in the real estate business, you're the lockbox is the lockbox for me, for you, for Bob down the street, for everybody, right? It's the same thing. They just need to know, hey, we're going to be putting this device on your door and it's going to be located this, that, and the other. I'm all about saving time and energy, right? Because I'm busy, I got things to do. So I always recommend to everyone, if you're going to be doing something, sending an email over and over and over again, use our letters, our library of letters list. So you come in here and you create this, this letter, and we're going to call it lockbox, right? And so I'm going to say, you know, this is installing lockbox on your door, whatever, right? And so we're going to pretend like I didn't spell that wrong. And so then I put in here, this is what you have to do, or I copy and paste it from a previous email that I've done. And I'm going to say, you know, this is for all my listings. This has to happen. And oh boy, I cannot type today. And so I'm going to save this, right? I'm going to save this letter. And so now when I'm on my checklist, right? When I'm on my checklist and I'm like, okay, I need to send this email about the lockbox. I come to this button here. This is my buyer is Michael Phelps. I'm going to click on this email button. I'm going to say, yep, it's going to go, that's his email address. And I'm going to go to my message and I'm going to say, choose from one of my letters, right? And I don't know where I put this. And here it is, right? There's the gibberish that I wrote. And I'm going to schedule this out. This is supposed to go out. We'll just say that's not July 3rd. We'll say it's supposed to go out, you know, September 3rd. And so now that goes out, it gets scheduled to go out and it's done. Right? It goes out branded with my information, my stuff. That's how the email goes out, and it's scheduled and it's done.
Typical realtor, you look nothing like your photo. Nothing
right?
like your headshot.
No, so I got curly hair today, no straight hair, and I'm definitely not Jennifer Aniston. But
so can we go back to the letters for a second? Because here's where I have something interesting to share with everyone on the call today, is that there is an exclusive version of the Wise Agent CRM. So if you go to wiseagent.com/Jared James, same pricing, there's no price difference or anything, but all of the like for your follow-ups, so your drip campaign emails, all of those different things, and circle prospecting letters, etc., that Jared has perfected over the years from building out his real estate business, are already in there. You've got not only all the great ones that Wise Agents provided for you as templates, you actually have all of Jared's follow-ups and everything in there as well. And these are time proven. The circle prospecting letters for my team has been huge, you know, in the real estate business. They've been great. So as well as then whatever ones that you've loved, that you've worked with over the years, that you want to put in there as well, now all of a sudden you've got a library to choose from. And again, you're not having to manage multiple systems of, this is my marketing system, and this is my contact system, this is this system. Your marketing, all of that lead generation is all happening in one place. So you're logging in the morning. What do I got to do today? Boom, boom, boom. My circle prospecting, everything is done, short and sweet, on with the rest of the chaos.
Yes, absolutely. So, and that is, I mean, having letters, having a library of content that you use and reuse and repurpose over and over again will help you with your business. It will help you with your time management. It will help you with your budget, because then if you have things set up, right, and you're hiring a transaction coordinator, or maybe you don't have the funds to hire a transaction coordinator just quite yet, but you still need to get all this stuff done. Guess what? The beauty is that you're prepared. And when you become prepared, then things are just happening for you really quickly and effortlessly and easily. So I have all the letters and the lists and the things that I need to have done, because this is what I need to just bare bones. This is what I need to run my business. I need to have these letters. I need to have these checklist templates so I stay on track. And then when you become, you know, when you generate enough money and you're like, okay, well now I can plug in a transaction coordinator here. I can unplug myself, because guess what? I'm not really that great at it, and I prefer to not do that. I'm better. My money serves me better to go to the listing appointments. And I need to have appointment after appointment, and I need to stack my calendar with appointments. Somebody else can deal with the paperwork because I'm not good at it, right? Or I don't like doing it.
But so, this makes it a seamless transition to have someone here. This is the system it's already operating for them to step in and there's no interruption of service of trying to figure out creating something from scratch.
Yeah. And the best part about it is you have Wise Agent support to help you, to be your kind of guide as far as like, oh, so now when your transaction coordinator does come along, right? And you're like, oh, can you give me training on this? I won't train you on this, but I'm going to give you this phone number and this email address, and Wise Agent will take care of all of that for you. And then, you know, all you have to do is tell them, hey, I have a letter library list. How do I implement this in my business? And then let Wise Agent be your trainer for your business. You don't have to be, we never leave you, you know, kind of high and dry in that. We support you, your team throughout the whole entire process of you being in the CRM. So from your onboarding session, all the way through training and support throughout the duration of you using our CRM. So that's something
that support, hot damn guys, like it is bomb. It is such a game changer for you to be able to have you got your CSV file or your Excel spreadsheet or whatever it is that you've been, you know, and you also have your Google contacts and you've got all these your contacts in different places. It's daunting, or even just moving from one CRM into another one, just moving in and nothing ever maps over properly. And we're not tech experts. We're trying to juggle transactions and everything else. So you don't really know what you're doing. When we were moving into Wise Agent and could just like here's all our contacts. And by later that afternoon, Wise Agent had it all inputted and everything was mapped over in the exact categories I wanted. And it was just done a couple hours later. Boom. Price of admission, worth it all day long. That alone, you had me at hello. Oh my God. But then ongoing, as you're trying to figure out, I mean, look at how many features there are in here, like the marketing and the newsletters and then the transaction checklist, and how am I creating my own transaction list, and how am I managing my properties, and all of those things. There's so much that it can do. Trying to learn that all in one shot, like you can't. But being able to say, can someone actually just get on the phone and walk me through? Click here, click here. Can you screen share and walk through this?
Well, we have
just a tutorial video, and the tutorial library is like so extensive. Like the support alone is unbelievable. And everyone I've talked to at Wise Agent has been kind and warm and lovely. And let me help you with that. Here, I can make that so much easier for you. When you're frustrated and you're ready to like put your fist through your computer because you can't figure it out, and someone's like, oh, I can fix that for you. Here you go. Click, click, click. Here's how you do that. Like,
our support team is fabulous. They are
amazing.
An amazing team. And so this is our contact us. And we have someone that has written in and said, I called support at 4 a.m. and got a call back within 5 minutes. Their support is amazing. So, I mean, we are a 24/7 operation. I'm not 24/7, so don't try to reach me 24/7. I do need some sleep, but our support staff is available throughout the day, all day long. You can fill out this form. We even post our phone number, so you can call us if you need help. So the whole entire thing, the whole entire platform is supported, you know, throughout everything, every little step. And they will give you some of the tips. I mean, my staff watches these webinars as well. We post these. This webinar is, you know, as well as all the other ones that we've done throughout the years are all on our YouTube channel. So you can go there and look at and listen to some of the discussions that we've had with all of these industry leaders like Regan. And so you can go through our knowledge base. You can, you know, type something in here like, how do I do my Facebook integration or whatever it is. You know, that is something that we really help you with. And so we've gotten it through video. You can get it through videos, through reading something, through reading our blog and giving ideas on how some of the features can be used. So I think someone's asking here, what's the best way to get leads from any particular source? So you can, you know, we even have blogs on how to generate leads using our landing pages. So I'll go back here.
So the marketing, the landing pages, the newsletters, the postcards to be able to, and the letters to be able to do circle prospecting, all of that stuff actually makes it quite easy in there. And when you go into the video tutorial library, like it walks you through step by step exactly what you need to do. And they're so just clear and simple.
Yeah.
Like literally anybody can do it. because it's all kind of done for you, that it's click, click, click. Oh my God, I made a landing page. Oh, it's done. Oh,
Right.
we're live. Like, it's great.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thank you for saying that, Regan. I mean, there's a lot to it, and we just touched on a few things, but I'm really grateful for all of you that attended. Regan, I'm especially grateful for you for being here today and sharing all of this and letting everyone here listen in and kind of eavesdrop on our conversations that we've had. And for any of those, I'm sorry for the chat not working. We'll get that sorted out the next one. But we'll be sending this. So if you did register for this webinar, you'll get this recording in your inbox a little while later. So today, so you'll be having that, and it's also will live on our YouTube channel forever and ever for you guys to watch back later on. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support staff at help@wiseagent.com, or you can just go to wiseagent.com and click on the contact us there, and we'll get back to you.
We could probably do a whole nother session just on lead gen through the CRM alone. Like, you know,
like, definitely. There's so much
to do. So that so whoever had asked that question, you may have spurred on a whole nother
topic, right? So well, I appreciate everyone joining today. Thank you so much, Regan. I appreciate you and all the wisdom that you shared with us. So I will talk to you guys all soon. I'll see you guys at the next webinar, and then Regan, we'll be talking soon. And you know,
absolutely. And again, if you're interested in the Jared James version of the Wise Agent CRM, it is wiseagent.com/Jared James.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next time. All right. Thanks, Regan. Bye.